Hey, so it's definitely been a while since I made a video, but today I'm doing a good one and I figured I would film it for you guys. So, just a quick update. I do have a new E36 right there. It's pretty clean. It's a 328 5-speed, tan interior, and it's got coils, a 391 rear diff, intake, exhaust, a tune. It's got polyed bushings all over the place. It's got the reinforcements welded into it. And did I say coilovers? It's got coilovers. Maybe a couple other little things, but it's basically just all suspension mods and not really any more mods that would affect the performance. So what I'm going to be doing today on the V8 swap E36 is I was having issues with the clutch not fully actuating. So what I'm doing is removing the BMW master from under the dash, and I'm installing a 1-inch bore Wilwood master in its place. And I'm also changing out the Nissan Slave that I had down in the tunnel on the TKO 600. And I'm swapping the Nissan Slave for a Miata Slave, which is supposed to have a slightly smaller inner bore. It also has the feed and the bleed are in a more desirable spot for being able to bleed it up in the tight tunnel. Alright, so what I have here, this is the pedal assembly out of the E36, and here's the new master. This is a stock location bolt, and that's a stock location. I bored this out so I could stick a longer bolt through it, so that's just straight through the master. Then I made this little bracket that's, I don't know, 2 finger gaps or 2 finger widths wide, and it just moves the hole. So this is actually a stock bolt that was in there, and then it connects to this bracket which bolts the rear of the master. This will connect hopefully to the stock line, and I just need to put a 3/8 fitting. I have a braided hose, and the only thing that remains is I've got this actuator rod. And it's kind of held in there by like a circlip, which is hard to see. But I went and I got a bolt that I'm going to grind to make it to the same cup. I have this little Heim joint on it. So I'm going to be able to get this up into the back of the clutch pedal and put the pin through, and then it should actuate this and everything should be happy. So I'm going to get this thing popped out. I'm going to grind it down. I'll kind of show you the two rods side by side, and then I'll try and put it in my car and kind of see how that goes. Alright, so right here, this is the plunger that was in its stock, and this is a bolt that I ground the top of so that would look the same, and I'm going to put that in here. I took out the snap ring and stuff. That's the inside of the master, except for this plate, and this stuff all goes on top of this bolt. So I'll put it back together, and then it's time to fit it into the car, more or less. Alright, so I'm at least done with part one. I got the thing installed in my car. I'll show it to you now. It's going to be a little bit hard to show, just because like it's all cramped up in the footwell. There's a bunch of wiring and a whole bunch of things going on up there. But hopefully you at least get the idea of what I did. So you can see there's the Wilwood master. There's a Heim joint up there. It connects into the pedal. It lines up with the hole in the back is lined right up, so it'll be able to hook a line to it. And then as far as pedal travel goes, that's where it ends. It starts right there. I didn't mess up stuff as far as like where the pedals end up, so this is about where it ends up in a stock one. I went and checked my other car, and yeah, it seems like it works pretty well. So part two, I'll hook up the Slave and I'll run the cable to it. I'll bleed it. I'll show you like the movement in it, and I think this should solve my issue, because the stock master in the BMW is like a 20 millimeter or a 19 mil. I went with a 1-inch bore, which would be a 25.5 mil, and I'm using a 5/8 bore, which is smaller than a normal BMW at the TKO 600. So if I have 1.2 inches of stroke at my pedal on a 1-inch bore with a 5/8 slave, then I should be getting over an inch of travel at the slave itself, which would be more than enough, which was then what was specified by ram clutches. So I'm really hoping this fixes my issue, but I guess we'll see in part 2.